All right, that's some important opinion that we're tracking, but let's now talk about all of the cues that you should watch as we get into this trading session. We have our research team here with the trade setup. Mangalam and Vivek join me to take you through all of the cues that you should watch and all of the individual stocks also that are likely to be in the news today. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. Vivek, first up to you. Take us through everything that we should watch from a market standpoint. Of course, this entire week has been hugely dominated by what's going on globally.
Well, absolutely right. Good morning to you. Well, what's actually happened is that the US markets as well as the Indian markets yesterday followed a very similar trading pattern, opened up with reasonable gains, a sharp intraday dip, and then, ending the gains with a minor recovery. Of course, Indian markets continue to end in the red. US markets, as you mentioned, ending with minor gains. Some interesting data point, Dow Jones is now set to head lower for the fourth straight week. And yesterday, chip maker Nvidia was the one that actually surged in trade as the company provided a very strong demand outlook for some of the chips that it makes. European markets, again, a very mixed handover coming in there as well. DAX closed higher by close to 0.5%, but despite that, overall sentiment still remains quite wary as far as the European outlook or European handover was concerned. Crude oil prices yesterday jumped quite significantly. A 2% uptick is what we saw in crude oil prices. Both Brent futures as well as WTI futures gained over 2% in the session. Oil prices managed to snap a 6-session losing streak. Coming to the own Asian markets, like you mentioned earlier, a very mixed cues coming in. SGX Nifty is indicating a mildly positive start. We'll be starting a fresh FNO series. And, when you're talking about yesterday, the Nifty failed to hold on to the intraday recovery that it saw. And now it's down for 5 straight trading sessions. So, all eyes today, whether the fresh series can start off on a good note.
All right, let's see if that does happen. Vivek, thanks a lot for getting us all of those cues. Let's also talk about the individual stocks that we should watch in today's trading session. Surbhi is here with that entire list. Good morning, Surbhi.
Few names that I'm tracking this morning. The first one is the entertainment, where the company is excluded from the FNO segment due to the IBC proceedings. Next is RVNL. The company has won a new order worth 197 crores. Axis Bank, the company sees possibility of completing acquisition of Citibank units by March 1st. Electra Green Tech develops hydrogen bus in technical partnership with Reliance. Karnataka Bank, the company enters into a co-landing agreement with Pesalo Digital. And lastly, Sanofi India, where the company declares its Q4 calendar year 2022 results, where the revenue was down 2% on a year-on-year basis, EBITDA was up 31%, and margins came in at 25% versus 19% same time last year.
Right, Surbhi, thanks a lot for getting us that entire list of stocks. We will watch for these in today's trading session. But finally, let's also talk about the cues from the futures and options space. Mangalam is here as we start a fresh new series. Mangalam.
Hello, Pavitra. When we start a fresh new series, we say hello to the March series. And the big question that we ask this time around is March series going to be the one where bulls make a strong comeback? Why do I say that? Well, we do have a strong setup here. March as a series itself is known for big moves on either side. Of course, March 2020 was marred by the COVID-related issue, so the series saw a 3,000-point cut. March 21 saw a 770-point cut, but last March, we saw an over 1,200-point move on the index itself. And now the Nifty is going into March series with 3 series of losses. So in the last 3 series, we've lost almost 1,000 points between December, Jan and Feb. So the question is, will bulls have their say? And while this decline has happened, what's also declined is the conviction of the participants, because between Feb to March, the rollovers have been just 73%, as against the last 3 months where we've seen 80% rollovers. And these rollovers have usually been on the short side itself. The Nifty has about 1.05 crore shares in open interest, and that's pretty much in line with what we've seen earlier as well. The FII long exposure in index futures at the start of the series is just 19%, and that's what gives you the hope that maybe these guys would be caught on the wrong side, primarily because in the last 3 times when the FII long exposure at the start of the series was so low, the market saw a big move. At the start of July 2022, the FII longs were 15%. The market moved 1150 points in that series. October, the FII longs was just 13%. The market moved 919 points. And here we have FII longs at 19% after a 1,000-point decline. The question is, can we see a big up move? That depends on the big triggers. Global central bank commentary is something we'll be watching out for. Geopolitical, institutional flows is something. And March is also the end of the FY23 year. So could there be some institutional buying to prop their NAVs? We'll only know.
All right.